So actually in real life growing up, I wanted to be a nurse.
Okay. Fair
Yep,
enough.
so close to the auto industry. They go
Yeah.
hand in hand.
I was like, you now upfit vans. Okay, got it.
Yep, so close. I swear to God, Rainman is it. The photographic memory. COVID made a lot of people at dealerships, I don't mean to be rude, almost order takers. And then they forgot how to really sell aftermarket. So if you're not familiar with it, you're living under a rock. I'll say that right now. But the best part about Hannah is because she's so cute, this bubbly Southern belle. I feel like she could destroy you with words and you don't realize what
Yeah,
she
you
said
feel
until
good
like 10
about
minutes
it.
later. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, right when she said it, that's a compliment. And then 10 minutes later, I'm like,
He just destroyed me. Yeah. That's an awesome like superhero skill.
Welcome to the Ride and Style Podcast, your turbocharged pit stop for automotive restyling. Buckle up with Jesse and Josh.
Welcome to another episode of the Ride and Style Podcast. Today, our guest is Jessica Crossman from Boston Truck and Van. Hi, Jessica. Thank you for being here.
oh, thank you for having me.
We have the queen back again. Episode 2.
Time.
A second time. Wow.
A second time.
Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the first guest we've actually had come back? I know we've asked a lot of people, or we've said, hey, we'll have you back, but I think Jessica might be our first.
Yeah, and we had some of the restylers from Pro Cup Challenge be on a couple times.
Let's just say yes. Let's just say yes.
Yeah.
It'll make the queen feel better.
I was going to say, boost me up a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. They don't count anyway, the Pro Cup Challenge. It doesn't even count.
Those didn't count.
Yeah.
So this is legit. Jessica, so Boston in the house. So I have a question, first of all, before Jessica gets started. Why don't you have a Boston accent?
So it's funny, everybody asks that. And if you go like deep into Boston, it's super, super thick. But once I start getting animated or excited about something and talk fast, you'll hear it. I think last year, was it last year? Yeah. When we were at the LRP, you tripped and I said, are you all right over there? And you stopped.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the first time I ever. And I was like, why are you looking at me like that? You're like, you are from Boston.
Yeah. Because you said over there. Something like that. Yeah.
But it stopped you in your track. I'm very happy that I don't have the thick accent though.
But you are from Boston, right?
Yep. I've lived here my whole life.
Isn't that Jesse, right? You talk to somebody from Boston, you would tell immediately they're from Boston, but Jessica fools me. So maybe were you thinking about going into network broadcasting, a TV reporter or something? Because that's usually how the white people manipulate their accent.
No. So actually in real life growing up, I wanted to be a nurse.
Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough.
So close to the auto industry. They go hand in hand.
I was like, you now upfit vans. Okay. Got it.
Yep. So close.
I'm sure you're putting Band-Aids on still.
Yeah. They being people, right?
Yes.
No, yeah.
Yes.
So last time, Jessica, you went into your background and everything, and I don't think maybe we can do a little bit of shorter version this time, but just for anybody that might have not heard that episode, if you could just tell us briefly how you got into the automotive or aftermarket world, kind of that quick summary of how you got into all this stuff.
Yeah. So I worked for a Cadillac dealership, 2 different Cadillac dealerships for 15 years. I was a finance manager. And once I was having my daughter, the sales manager that was at my corp where I was previous said, hey, we need somebody on the road. You can still stay in auto. Is this something that you want to do? And I said, yeah, of course. Frank got me into the aftermarket side of the auto industry. And it's just spiraled since then. I think when I first started doing this, 12 volt, it was number one, right? Remote starts. That's how everybody made their money. And then manufacturers were like, sorry, go find something else. So we've had to evolve. Josh, you know best, you got to start one place and then all of a sudden, wait, somebody's doing bed liners, I got to do that. Somebody's doing van upfits, oh crap, I got to do that. So it evolves that way. And I recently had the opportunity, I've known Boston Truck and Van for a long time. They started in 1985. They were like the only 12 volt people that were touching high-end vehicles too. So when I worked at Cadillac, this company was the installer for them. And then they pivoted in the market. very soon to do van upfits. And if you're from around here, Steve Pansy's name, you know that he is, I joke and I keep calling him Rainman. There is a different brain in that man's head. And we've gone back and forth for years. And I said to him, you want to know what? I think the opportunity for more commercials there. So let's try to figure this out. And now here I am at Boston Truck and Van.
Jesse, if you have, I don't think you've had the privilege to meet Steve. Steve's hilarious. So I hope Steve listens to this, because I'm going to do a Steve Pansy impression. Okay. And so you talk to him on the phone, or because he is like an encyclopedia when it comes to the fleet stuff. You're like, hey Steve, what's the Adrian part number for a partition for a 148-inch high roof? Oh, it's 6574205 over there. They're probably 17.7 of them in stock, and they're $313 each. And you just go ahead and order them. In fact, I got 2 of them right here. You want one? It's just, it's a little bit Jersey. My Boston accent is really bad.
I was going to say that's a bad
because of the shop in Jersey. I pick up on those guys. I need to get a shop
Jersey.
in Boston. But
That was very Jersey.
yeah, very Jersey.
very
But
Jersey.
Steve just knows every part number, and he knows he's pretty good. He's really good. Wealth of knowledge.
It is. He's crazy when it comes time to it. And literally that is spot on. And then I'll look at you because he spouts it off so fast, right? And then he's, what are you looking at me for? I'm like, what did you just say?
Yeah.
Do you want to try that again?
Yeah. He just said 3 part numbers, but you just didn't catch the millisecond in between the 3 part numbers. So why aren't you writing this down?
Oh my, and you couldn't even if you wanted to. And he'll always do the, how do you not know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not you. Like the man, I swear to God, Rainman is at the photographic memory. And I could be like, I have a customer coming in and I think he wants this, but I don't think this is going to fit. And he's like, you change out Adrian and you put the Ranger in there and you do this for Holman and you add this and you do a little spacer and it's done. And it's, I was going to suggest that.
Yeah.
Silly
That's
me.
what I thought.
Yeah.
He is
Pretty
like a master chef. He just grabs stuff and he makes it, and it turns out to be a perfect meal. So shout out to him. Happy for you being over there. Remind me again, what was the name of their company before they became Boston Truck and Van? Do you remember? Osprey. That's what it was. Osprey Restyling. I don't know if they said restyling. They were a restyler. Did a lot
mostly all 12 volt though. Yep.
Yeah. At one point they even did sunroofs way back in the day. And yeah, so
they
Osprey.
were the old school Zach Morris bagged phone company that was around here. So I'm really aging myself at this point, but yeah, that's them.
Tell us a little bit more about this. What's your role today there? What are you doing? And what makes you guys stand out? What do you specialize in? Because it's come a long way, right? So in your career, you've got a new chapter starting. So it's really cool.
So they specialize in all things commercial. So the only thing that we're not doing is dump bodies of sorts. But when it comes time to any van upfit, any truck upfit, anything that is good for, I keep saying the blue collar generation, but it really is. So Adrian, Weather Guard, Holman, Ranger, I'm probably not saying somebody and I'm going to aggravate somebody, but truck caps, that is a huge portion of a lot of these fleets that went from the Transit Connects and the ProMaster, like the cities that they can't get them, they can't get their hands on them. Transit Connects aren't made anymore. But even on the GM vans, how the small ones, so transitioning into truck caps and working with Jericho and ARE, Adrian just came out with a truck cap. So being able to still fit what almost like that city life needs, because you can't really drive around in the big things up in Boston or in Providence. It's just a pain in the rear end. They still do 12 volt. They mostly dabble in all of the strobe aspect of it, but it's coming from my corp. And I say this with all the respect in the world. That was like, I'm in college when it comes time to van upfits here, whereas my corp was in kindergarten. Now flip it. If we tried to do leather here, we would be in kindergarten. My corp would be college, but it is anything that you can think of that you need in a work vehicle, it's done. And if you cannot get it done, Steve's figuring out how to custom fab it and get it done. That's all the stuff that they're doing here. And it's great.
That's fantastic. Where's your vision? What was their whole, when you want to grow with this company, or what your role and everything like that? What do you hope to see?
So they had Jeff Marin started the company. So it's Jeff and Beverly and their son, Jason. So Jeff did it all. He ran the company, he owned the company, he built the company, he went out and did all of the sales. They've not had an on the road salesperson since Jeff stepped out of it a little bit. So hybrid doing that, bringing more to the awareness of who Boston Truck and Van is, bringing them up to speed on social media, because that isn't something that they had before. Trying to redo their website and try to get that stuff going, because I think I know a guy for that. And then try to build that brand more and more, but then truthfully follow Steve and make sure that I am assisting him in all of the things that he needs. So I'm going to be hybrid in and out of the shop and trying to do eventually, when he retires in 100 years from now, be able to assist with more of the role that he did, because we're not letting him go. It's going to be like Weekend at Bernie. He's sticking with us.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's room for a hospital bed to be rolling around, and he can still spout out numbers, no problem.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And what's different in the market that you're in? This is something that's become more interesting to me. What's different there than maybe where you were before? You mentioned, okay, the college versus the elementary or high school level, but what else has changed? What's different? The market's similar, right? But there's you guys have a different approach. What makes you guys special and unique?
So in this market, I want to say most restylers across every market right now is trying to get into commercial, because you have to, in order to survive, unless you are really scaling down in the restyling aspect. A lot of people are looking for more on even just passenger trucks, whether it's spray-ins or toolboxes, ladder racks, things of that nature. So Boston Truck and Van, and then there's another company, AAA, pretty much own the market. We've got obviously Metropolitan, Boyers, things of that nature, but they own the market when it comes time to van upfits. So they pulling into this parking lot every day. There's at least 200 vehicles that are circulating over and over when it comes time to the van upfits. They've owned the market for quite some time. But again, I'm beating a dead horse when I say, Steve, we know that this comes down to relationships, right? Like you'd be silly. I'll use Josh, for example. You'd be silly if you're walking through SEMA and you don't know who Josh Poulsen is. It's like, how do you not? That's the same thing.
100,000 people don't know who I am, so it's fine. Bad analogy, but that's okay.
There's a lot of people.
Thank you.
Yes. And that's what it's like here. And the relationship to know, hey, I can just call him up and say, this is what I need, and this is how it's going to get done, and it's done. From where I came from to here. So in a lot of the territories, the manufacturers don't want to flood the market with everybody being able to sell Adrian or Ranger. They're very protected. And this company has always been super protected throughout the years for it. And I think just being able to have all of that at your fingertips without having to call and buy product from someone else and so forth, that's the advantage that Boss Truck has. So relationship, the Rainman that's in the other office, and then every single product line is fabulous.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of product lines too, don't you? Like I was looking on your website and there's a whole bunch of badges and logos from all the different providers.
Oh yes, lots of them.
The good thing
Continuing to
is,
grow.
yeah, the good thing is once you start doing that, and then manufacturers are calling you constantly wanting to, hey, will you carry our line? Will you carry our line? Will you carry our line? Versus when you're starting out, you're begging, hey, can you sell me? Can you sell me? So it becomes, at any shop, any company, there's that tilt where you stop asking and they start begging. So you just gotta roll that angle, and they've done a fantastic job.
Yeah. Even going to NTEA, not last year, the year before, walking through and I'll see Nate Seeley from Adrian, and he is nice to see you, Jess, but not talking to you. You're not with Boston Truck. And it's very cordial that way, but that's how it all is. So it's nice to not have to beg anymore. I'm oh, you want that? I've got that. So it's nice.
Now Nate calls you and goes, hey, will you buy more Ranger?
Yeah.
Jessica, before we get off this topic, just one more thing about fleet. This something you said was very interesting. You're talking about how every restyler is looking at fleet now because they have to, right? So why is that, first of all, from your point of view? And then second, how are you guys expanding on that? Are you going to even do more products? Are you going to do different kinds of services for the same customer? But why the focus why does everybody have that focus? I just would love your insight or your opinion.
So forever, these cars didn't have anything in it. And so restylers, I'll use my quote, for example, again, started heavy 12 volt. It was all 12 volt all the time. And then manufacturers started adding stuff. So then you had to do leather. And then the next person down the road was doing sunroof. So you had to add that into it. Now, a lot of baseline models have heated seats. They have the remote starts. They have all of that. So they're, as a restyler, looking, how am I supposed to fill that void from what the manufacturer is actually adding into these vehicles? And that's where the commercial part comes along. Then add in, and I think we chatted a little about this last time, COVID made a lot of people at dealerships, I don't mean to be rude, almost order takers. And then they forgot how to really sell aftermarket. But if you don't have somebody at the dealership that is pro aftermarket, if they don't see the value in it, they do the whole, nah, they can get it after. I don't want to have to do it. I just want to burn gas, get it on the road. They're missing a lot of money that way. And you can't convince them to change. So the best way is find a new product line to be able to sell to fix your cash flow problems. And commercial's huge. I think one of the biggest things that happen after somebody goes and purchases a truck at a dealership is, where are they going to get it done? Where are they getting a lift done? Where, again, toolbox, spray and bed liner, ladder rack, wheels, all of that stuff. And you have to be able to supply that for the customer instead of saying, I can do your spray in, but if you're really looking for a toolbox and ladder rack, I'm going to send you down the street. You got to figure out how to do it, or you're going to lose the customer in general.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you guys get most of your business from dealership, fleet manager type of relationships, or directly to the owners of the fleets, like HVAC company or electricians or whatnot? Or is it both? Or like, how do people hear about you right now?
So I'll go right now 80-20. So 80 is all from dealership, enterprise, fleet, bigger, like things like that. And then we do have the end users, or I started with X company and I started my own company, but you guys had upfitted a van for said company beforehand. And then coming back to be able to get that. Coming into this, if you're from this area, who Boston Truck and Van is, but to know how successful they've been without doing the marketing and advertising, without having an on-the-road salesperson, and being able to grow it that way, that's where I'm hoping to help with that and be able to grow that. But 80% of it is within dealerships. And coming from my previous role, you would walk into a dealership and they say, great, I'll talk to you, but I have Boston Truck and Van. I don't need you for anything else on that part of it. So now it's time to see if I can switch Mr. Pansy's thought process on, maybe when the candy factory behind us moves out, we can start a bay for restyling. Cause I think they're missing out on some of that stuff because they've got the relationships there. He's really tight within those dealerships. He'd be able to grow.
That's awesome. That's great. Cool. Big opportunities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about SEMA Pro a little bit, because Josh is here. We have to at least mention there's some history there.
Yeah. So tell us
SEMA
what the
Pro.
latest, greatest thing about SEMA Pro is. Obviously, are you in your third year, fourth year?
I'm going to be starting my third year.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to. Hopefully everybody votes me back in. That's what has to happen.
Oh, you're up. You're an incumbent this year. So yeah, come March, or you'll put you on the ballot. Yeah. Vote for Jessica. But yeah, go ahead. Tell us what SEMA's got going on. SEMA Pro's got going on.
SEMA Pro has been busy from, just the committee itself. So then we have the Joshes and we have the Colbys that are leaving and where that's going, hopefully, and I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, NADA wise, and working on that side of it. There's so much that everybody at Pro is doing to bring information and education to restylers. What is the word restyler? What is restyling? But the Pro Cup Challenge obviously takes the cake on all of it with some of the things that we have going on. So if you're not familiar with it, you're living under a rock. I'll say that right now, but go to semapcc.com and you, as a restyler on the outside, have the opportunity to work with this big group, almost 300 members that are a part of SEMA Pro. And for instance, this week I had a question on a center console workstation. To know I can reach out to other people, it's your 20 group. It's your biggest networking that you're able to do. So if you're a restyler and you're not part of it, you've got to be. Shame on you. It's such a great group. But the committee itself, everybody's a little bit crazy. Thank God we have Denise wrangling us all in. She's the mother hen of all of us and keeping track of everything. But we have everybody from manufacturers to sales to marketing. So to be able to sit down and have some of these conversations about the industry from everybody's point of view, it really opens your mind to not just thinking, like for me as a sales manager, in one lane, being able to think about it elsewhere. This is when I get to reverse the roles on you, Jesse. Kudos to you and everything that you've been doing. I had the opportunity to do the education session this past year, and sitting down with you and Dino and Steve as moderator, listening to how you speak about marketing for restyling changed my mind on a few things. I'll plug it in. If you haven't already read Jesse's book, download it on Amazon. Do it as a salesperson in any position when you're trying to navigate the marketing aspect of it, or the online or the advertising. It really, in a very respectful way, dumbs it down to how you should be doing it, the way you should be looking at it, and growing that way. Had I not been a part of SEMA Pro and having access to that, it just wouldn't change the way that my brains worked and been able to grow that way. Again, highly suggest being a part of it. But the Pro Cup Challenge this past year was the first year that we had ambassadors. And so we have 6 vehicles that are part of it. We had an ambassador for every builder. I was an ambassador for Sunline with Joe out of New York. And let me tell you, it was an instant connection, but it was an instant, what are you doing and how can I bring other things back to my shop, to your shop? We're excited to do it this year. I think this is going to be the year that we're going to really try to change some things, amp it up. We've changed some dollar amounts on things that you can do. The applications are going to be opening up. I'm probably speaking out of turn, but it's going to be in a couple months. Put your name in there, do a build. Josh did a build last year that
Should have
we've
won.
The floor that Dino used, everybody was like, oh, he already won because he had the floor. That was so genius.
Yeah. All I needed was a dang floor.
Yep.
He cheated. Yeah, he cheated. No, he didn't cheat. I won't say that because somebody's panties will be in a bunch.
Yeah, be careful. A lot of it, he got accused of it, so let's not go that route. We love him.
Oh my.
He
Yeah,
did a
no.
great build. That black label was awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
And
Beautiful.
what we're looking
It just
forward
wasn't as
to-
cool as mine.
No, God, no.
It's my podcast, so he can get his own podcast and brag about his car.
What was super cool about with Dino and everything, he had the dealership that he had gotten the truck from. I believe it was the principal that was there.
Yeah, the GM, GSM,
Okay.
GM. Yeah.
He was there, so that just showed support. And I
Heck
think
yeah.
they've done now, I think they're doing their 6th build
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's great.
from the show. So we have SEMA Pro, we have our general membership meeting that's going to be coming up. We're going to put that all out on social media. And we would love to be able to have PCC winners, past winners, talk about, all right, so I did this build, but then what happened? You left Vegas. Now what? Is it really beneficial to you? So being able to see that Dino and his team did multiple builds afterwards. Josh, I think you guys did. I think Kevin Gillis actually did your builds in his neck of the woods. So it's just a way to, one, for consumers to be able to go on that Friday when you're at the SEMA show, go on that Friday, go over to the Pro Cup Challenge booth and realize what you can change on your vehicles, what you can add.
Without spending
and-
$100,000.
Yeah.
And be able to find somebody that's reputable in your area, because we all have a guy, but to be able to get it done right with warranties that stand behind it and the whole 9 yards, it's awesome. SEMA's awesome.
You guys are definitely doing a great job with Pro Cup, and I know a lot of the marketing and content is in your wheelhouse because you're chairing that committee still, I believe, which we're seeing more now than ever. One serious question though, who's the funniest person on the select committee now that I'm gone?
Sometimes I'm like, where's Josh's humor?
No, yeah, but nobody, come on. Is Jesse funny or is Jesse serious?
I'm too quiet. I'm not talking much on
The ratio
know,
of
Jesse,
redheads on our select committee is a little overweighted, but that's fine.
That's important. We are
That's
taking
important.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have filled the roster. No one else can, no more gingers.
Yeah.
We're good there.
Yeah.
The funniest when it comes time to it,
Yeah.
I think Hannah's pretty funny.
Hannah is funny.
Hannah talks funny and she does have some good jokes. Yeah. I like where she goes because she still has some one-liners out there that are pretty good.
And she's a straight shooter. She knows.
Yeah.
She tells it like it is.
Oh
and
my
sometimes
God, is she a
funny.
straight shooter?
Oh yeah.
She's actually she is chairing all of the PCC stuff too. So she's a huge voice when it comes time to it. But the best part about Hannah is because she's so cute, this bubbly Southern belle. I feel like she could destroy you with words and you don't realize what she
you
said
feel
until
good
like 10
about
minutes later. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, right when she said it, that's a compliment. And then 10 minutes later, I'm like,
He just destroyed me. Yeah. That's an awesome like superhero skill. That's cool.
Yeah.
it really
That's
is.
great.
So she's good that way.
So would you ever run for chair?
I would love it.
Oh, are we announcing this on the podcast that you would eventually run for chair? Yes.
You heard it here first, ladies
You
and
heard it
gentlemen.
here first. So
Breaking news.
there you go. It's next year that the decision would come up, right? Yeah, because Ron was last year. So next year we're gonna need a chair. But yeah, it just depends on what you buy, Jesse and I, but we would be totally up for helping that campaign. It just kind of depends. We have floaters out there, but I think you would do a fantastic job. So no. And so let's say this, if you were to become chair, where would you like to see, whether you're chair or not, but where would you like to see the direction of SEMA Pro? You see what we got going on now. You guys, you're in the everyday weeds, but where do you think the future for SEMA Pro could be?
Gosh, I think that what we are talking about for Kevin Gillis, if you're listening, and I'm speaking out of turn, I promise you confidentiality agreements. I agree with that. Next year, so not 2026, but 2027, we want to be able to be bigger at the SEMA show. We want to be able to have a bigger footprint. We want to be able to invite more of the dealer aspect to it. So we have Josh and Colby and Ron, a lot of people, sorry, I just keep saying Josh and Colby, but that are pushing on the NADA side. If we can figure a way to start to marry everybody together, that would be awesome. We grow 2027, we have a bigger footprint at the show. And then we start to say to these dealers, hey, come and see us. All the relationships that you guys are building at NADA with different people there, come see what we do and come make it grow with us. I think that growing social media wise, I can talk about it over and over. I honestly don't know what the heck I would do without both Rachel and Jesse when it comes time to a lot of the marketing stuff. I joke at one point that I do my own personal one, I do my daughter's one, I do Boston Truck and Van, I do SEMA Pro, and it's like my 27 different personalities all talking to each other and like going on and liking everything. So I think if we can just be out in the spotlight more, I can go back to having 2 personalities, not all of them, and the algorithms just grow it. So grow it that way. The 20 group aspect of it is phenomenal, and everybody realizes that you have outreach to grow and to personally and professionally grow, but take over West Hall, right? Be a part of it more with everybody and really have, instead of you're walking down the hallway and then you see, oh, there's the Pro Cup Challenge. I want somebody to be like, there's Pro Cup Challenge. And I think that everybody is pushing for it. So I'm going to push real hard with everybody.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That's a good vision. It's good. That's good to run on.
Yes.
What do you think, Jesse? You think she's onto something?
Yeah, I think what it takes in this role is something that you have to have a diversity of talent and skill, and you have to have the background. And Jessica, I think you have that. I want to encourage you to keep pushing for any leadership opportunity, because you have the experience and you also aren't afraid to step up and tell it like it is or say what people need to hear. And I think, myself included, I'm a little quiet on a lot of the meetings because I'm still trying to sometimes gauge what's going on and see where, but I think that's a little too passive. And you're inspiring me to want to speak up a little more, but I like your vision and I think you should keep doing that and pushing it because that's how the change is going to happen. Otherwise, we're just going to keep repeating what's been done in the past and that's okay, but it's not going to be great.
Well, and where you can make the biggest difference, Jessica, being on the select committee it's a great honor, but once you get into the leadership role, and that's when once you become chair or chair-elect and then chair, that's when you start intertwining with all the rest of SEMA and the board more and the other networks and councils and everything like that. But that's when all of a sudden you'll start making a bigger impact for the restyling industry. And you can fight your fights because being on the select committee, it's a couple hours a month and this and that, and you're talking on internal stuff. But when you can get outside that, your kind of personality and your vision will help all the industry more once you can get to that leadership role.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope so. So I'm very honored to hear you guys say that because I love all this and I love being able to learn from everybody that I'm around. Am I allowed to say that hopefully Colby makes a lasting impression higher up in SEMA, right?
He's coming down to it where he might make the ballot. If he makes the ballot to be on the board, there you go.
Instead of vote for Pedro, vote for Colby, because that really will bring a voice for a lot of restylers. And not only that, but with the manufacturing background too, it just is a very loud voice for both sides. So to anybody that's listening, if you don't follow SEMA Pro on social media, just saying. And then if you don't vote for Colby, I'll find you. Yeah.
Well, they have to be a SEMA member, but they can then vote for Colby for sure. Every company gets one vote. So it's good. It's good. This is awesome. Before we finish up though, what's going on with your daughter Chloe? What's she got going on? She's starting any new businesses, entrepreneur? Has she already moved out yet?
She is living on her own in a penthouse in Boston so right now she is loving life because she had February vacation last week and then we've had to shut down this entire week. They called school for the entire week this week because of the 34 inches of snow that we have and we can't clear anything out. But nope, she actually finished 100 pairs of earrings for Kevin Gillis.
Okay. Wow.
He is part of another community, an awesome community, and asked if we would be able to do the logo of his lighthouse. And this school offers pretty much a full ride for disabled, mentally and physically disabled children up to a certain age. So I'm probably saying it wrong, but I think it's either age 6 or 6th grade, but why do I want to say age 6? Either way. And so it was a welcome back to everybody. We collectively as a family did a lot of work on those 100 pairs of earrings. So she took a much needed break, AKA mom needed a break, and she's going to be rocking it soon. We just ordered some new bezels for her. And then like last year, how she did the Memorial Day challenge, she's going to do it this year. She wants to be able to beat her goals. We'll put that all out on social media too. But she's killing it. She's loving life. I lucked out with her.
For somebody that doesn't know what you're talking about, maybe this is their first time hearing this young entrepreneur is how old?
She's 9. She'll be 10 in July, and she started her own business making earrings. She wrote her own business plan out, and we thought about just doing something for fun, arts and crafts, get off she's not on social media, get off the iPad and stuff. And she's done great with it. She's done a few craft fairs. She makes more money in a craft fair than anything else, which is great. And she talks to everybody that walks by. She's very shy until you get her to talk about something that she really likes, and then it just keeps going. I want to keep encouraging this side of her because I think that as a parent, I should be pushing her more towards growing up, even though I want her to stay little.
Sure.
And get off the internet, get off of all of that stuff.
Yeah.
There's too much negative in the world.
She's learning a life skill that is always going to help her no matter what business she gets into. When you can talk to people and when you can actually have a carry on a conversation and even sell, she's just going to be so valuable. So that's awesome for you guys. I'm sure you guys are proud. So I know you are. Look at all those pictures back there. I love it. I love it. So, Well, thank you, Awesome, for joining us. I guess now you're going to have Jesse give her the final question because now it's all new stuff.
How do we learn more about you? How do people get in contact? What website, social media? Where do you want to send people to?
So please follow Boston Truck and Van on social media. So this is something that we are trying to grow here. It's on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn, literally Boston Truck and, so spell out and, not the ampersand sign, and follow us. You can go on the website too. If you are in the Boston market, obviously, if you're looking for shelving of sorts, we're on Adrian's website and Ranger's website and Holman's as an installer of, but I encourage you guys to follow on social because there are some really cool builds that are going on and that we're constantly just looking to grow that way, right? Word of mouth. So it's something that we're trying to do for both SEMA, trying to do for Boston Truck and Van. So like your people, follow your people, encourage your people.
Awesome.
And then go read Jesse's book.
Thank you. Appreciate that too. Jessica, it's so great to have you on the show again. We appreciate it and excited for your new chapter that you started. So,
Yes.
Yep.
And best of luck to you as well.
Yep.
Awesome.
Thanks for all your hard work. Awesome.
Thank you guys.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you all later.
See you
All
later.
right.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
And there you have it, another high-octane episode of the Ride and Style podcast, revved up and ready to go. Your hosts, Jesse Stoddard and Josh Polson, shifted your automotive game into overdrive. If you're hungry for more insights, trends, and game-changing interviews from the automotive restyling universe, don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a glowing review. We'd also love for you to share this podcast with your gearheads, installers, and auto lovers network. Because remember, knowledge is power, but shared knowledge turbocharges the whole industry. For more expert resources to supercharge your business, cruise on over to autostylemarketing.com, your one-stop shop for everything automotive marketing. Until next time, keep those wheels spinning and your passion ignited. Thank you for riding in style with us. See you on the next lap.